Okay. So, uh, as you know, this breathing earth Qigong is a combination of Qigong and Dharma. And I'd just like to give you a little background on this for tonight. Um, we're all familiar with the cycle of life. So, for instance, if you have a wolf or a pack of wolves, and the wolves eat elk. So they kill the elk, they eat the elk, and the elk basically becomes the wolves, right? And then when the wolves die, then other animals feed on them, crows and birds of prey and vultures and so on. And then the rest goes into the earth, and then what's fed on those animals die go into the earth, and that creates more plants, and then the elk eat the plants. And it's very elegant. Um, and this has been going on, for a very long time. And of course, all animals, including us, are part of these cycles. So, from the Taoist point of view, the question is, what is it that keeps going on? From grass to elk to wolf to vulture to grass again. What is it that keeps going on, keeps changing form? And the Taoist answer is that it's qi, it's life force energy. And so the life force energy takes the form of the grass, and then it takes the form of an elk, and then it takes the form of a wolf, and then it takes the form maybe of a vulture, and then it takes the form of the grass again. And it is this singular, uh, uh, boundless, and timeless force of life that moves through forms. Okay, so this is very Taoist. But it's also very Buddhist, and this is obvious. I'm not telling anything anyone doesn't already know. Um, the way the Taoists have layered this, though, is that this same cycle of qi moving through different forms is enacted at various levels. Okay, so what I just described, that's the physical level. Okay, and that's pretty easy to track. But when you get into the metaphysical levels, that is, things that aren't physical, um, qualities like courage or kindness or love or compassion or friendship, um, those are refined energies, qi, that also move through different forms. So the energy of sort of action, you could say, karma means action, takes different forms. And it can take very gross forms, and it can take very subtle and very refined forms. And the way that this is depicted in Qigong or in Taoism is vertically. Okay, so we start out with the gross material and forms of qi down at the bottom. And then as we move up the body, or the central axis of the body, we're engaging in more and more what they would call refined qi. So much finer forms of the life force energy. Uh, and this this energy keeps changing forms, and it occurs at different levels of what they would call refinement. So from very gross to very subtle. Okay, so I'm just giving you this is just sort of basic background of what this is. And in the Taoist literature, the human body, if it's seen, it's a microcosm of the universe. So the body actually goes all the way from the center of the earth up on standing on the earth and all the way up. into the cosmos, and that's the body. Okay, that's the body from a refined perspective. Okay, from a gross perspective, it's just the physical body, but we all know it's much more than that. Okay, so this is just the background I wanted to lay down for tonight, because we'll be working with this verticality, this quality of verticality. And as you know, since we've done this before, the verticality is just a cross section. Like if you took an onion and cut it in half, that you could maybe draw a line right up and down the middle of it. That would be the axis of it. That's the axis in the body, but it goes all around. It connects out in every direction. So that's just something to put into your pot and let it stew. So you can sort of just feel your way into this standing posture rather than just forcing yourself and arriving at it. So we go from movement and then just reduce the movements just subtly, little by little, until you arrive at this stillness. So we're not imposing a posture on the body. We're allowing the body to settle into its natural vertical upright position. And if you like, you can do a little scan with the eyes. So turn the eyes 180 and look inside the body and then down into the earth and then up, inside, up, and out. And maybe just get a sense of this body as being very, very, very big, very, very, very tall. And then same with the eyes. Eventually the eyes will just come to stillness. And then there'll just be a sensation, a feeling of alignment. And if something's a little tight, then move a little bit, loosen it up until it just naturally on its own, it just sort of falls into harmony. And then once we're still, that is not moving, then the breath becomes very much more obvious. That's the movement within the stillness. And that's the chi taking form with the in-breath and releasing form, dissolving into emptiness with the out-breath. if you're a little scientifically minded, you know that at every moment, cells in the body are being born and cells are dying. Okay, now let's go ahead and face the east. Now to the east. Now to the south. And to the west. And to the north. And back to first position. And now we're going to go down, and so we're extending the body. So we're stretching the body up, 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 up. Extending the mind, the imagination way up, way, way, way up. And then touching all around. Okay. And then lay down. Now then we extend our attention into the body. So even though the body isn't moving, it's not stretching way up and bending way down, our attention can go way up and way down. And this is movement at a more subtle level. So when we first did the 7 directions, that was movement at the gross physical. And then we were mixing consciousness and extending out. And this is movement at a more subtle level. What's moving is our attention. This is movement. And moving the attention way up, moving the attention way down. Okay, and bringing it back then into where the hands are. And let's just try this. So dropping the attention down, it drops down through the perineum and through the bottoms of the feet, down into the earth, and manifests out like the roots of a tree. So we're imagining and feeling this. The imagination sort of begins it, and then what would it feel like to have roots? We're extending our consciousness down and feeling down into the earth. Okay, and now in the next in-breath, so bring that attention up inside the body. Next out-breath, out the top of the head and extend out like the crown of a tree. Extending up and out. So this is movement of consciousness. And then coming back to where the hands are and inhabiting all of it, the roots, the body, and the cosmos. Okay, and then the next is to extend that around in all directions. So it just becomes sort of this field. So field of awareness. What does it feel like behind you? A foot or two behind you. What does it feel like above your head? What does it feel like around you? Okay. So this is a more refined level of Qi. The lower hand represents the earth Qi, and the upper hand touches into the Qi that's in the present moment, expanding all around. Okay? So let's dip our knees, and now if we let our hands come up, watch the eyes, and then do what Trisha Yu calls the sky cone, the cone to the sky, and then turning a little. So this is sending this cone way, way, way up. And the hands are moving through the stars, okay, all around. And we're pivoting on this axis, but the hands are extending. Okay, now let's bring the hands together and then bring them down, palms down, sink down. Okay, and then standing mountain, that's the earth cone. And again, if we just turn the waist, you might want to focus the palms down. So connecting down into the earth. Okay, reduce movement. And then go into standing one position. And this is focusing a little more on the body, the torso, and the movement of energy within the body. So in this position, you may sense into the heartbeat. The heart is moving blood, moving energy in the body. So by having the posture be contained like this, the palms facing each other, brings the attention into the body. Okay. And now let's just dip the knees and just as an experiment, so just focus the hands out. Now your attention is completely different. It's going out and around. Okay. And let's bring the hands back. And then this is bringing attention again back into the physical body. Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. Now let's go ahead and loosen up the head and neck. Shoulders. And then opening the chest with the breath. So this moves the attention way out and then back in to the body. Extending out to Indra's net and then back into chest. The breath is the interface between the outer and the inner. Let's just do a couple more. Okay, good. And now down to the hips. We're rocking the pelvis on the tops of the femurs and then flexing and releasing the lower back. Okay, and then circling the hips. All right. Come back to balance. And let's go ahead and shift the weight, sink. And now when we relax back into the posture, you can move these different areas a little bit until it just comes into balance. Now with the mind, you can focus the attention anywhere on that vertical axis or in the body and the microcosmic orbit on the breath. And you can use the eyes. We don't want to be standing and having the mind running in 1,000 directions. We want the mind to be still. And if it's not, then we go ahead and focus it. focus it on something. You can use the eyes to help you if you want, or you can move a little bit. Mindfulness of mind is to not allow it to just run, or if it does, to not put any energy in it. Mindfulness of body is focusing on the sense of touch, feeling the body, different places. When we're feeling the body, we're interacting with the chi of the body, the material chi. And if we're focusing on the mind, we're interfacing with a more subtle form of chi, of the energy. Okay, all right, very good. Well, let's go into the morning routine. So beginning with, at the bottom, beginning with the chi of the earth, the gross chi. Earth's fragrance drifts up. So in breath. We're activating sense of touch by touching our fingers. Keeps the mind, the attention in the body. So we're bringing up this energy from the earth up into the body, up to the middle dantian. And then going back down. Okay, so this is we're creating forms for that earth chi. Okay, let's do one more. All right, next one. Sunrise on the horizon. We come up, we're not touching the hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a little more refined. So this is, we're coming up to the heart area and then extending out. So we're including the middle dantian and the lower and the earth. Let's do 2 more. Okay, we touch down into the ground. Okay, next one, parting the clouds. So in breath, palms face, elbows, look up, turn the hands this way at the top, part the clouds. Now we're activating the to upper dantian and bringing that down all the way through the body. So lower dantian, middle, upper dantian, extending out, extend them up, 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 part the clouds. Okay, and then this sun, the moon, the stars, the light comes down into the body. So now we're working at the chi from the very lowest all the way up. And then this light which comes down, that's very refined, very subtle. That fills the body. Let's do one more. And so now we fill the body with a starlight. Okay. Now, washing the body with rainbow dew. So rainbow is healing chi. Dew is freshness, energy of the earth. So we just come up, turning one side, and we're just sort of washing the body now with this freshness. So this balances sort of the filling with starlight. So now this is the refreshing the physical body. Let's do one more on each side. Okay. Now, this is a gesture of releasing, so flipping away the fog. So this can be very big, or it can just be getting out of the shower and shaking your hand. So we're releasing, and this gesture is very simple, but at the end of the gesture, we're left with emptiness for a moment. We're releasing whatever's there. Okay, and now this is probably the most ancient set of gestures. So we're going to activate the hands. And we're going to bend down just like a backwash. And we're going to hold the chi of the earth, so this can be rainbow dew, however you see it, and bring it up into the lower dantian. We'll do this 4 times. And they call this packing, sort of packing the lower abdomen with this ancient energy of chi that moves through all forms. So 4 times. Okay, and then our hands can just sort of rest on this, on the field of this energy. It's as if you are very pregnant and the hands are resting. Okay, now we're going to refine the physical, ancestral, natural chi up into the heart. So dipping the knees. So 1. We're bringing some of that up. You want to visualize this and feel it. again. So you can sense this as a bright fog, if you like, or whatever comes to you. And filling. And once more. And this is refining the chi. This is what humans can do. We can take the chi of nature and refine it into our relationships and into our consciousness. Some animals, I think, do this too. Okay? Now, touching heaven, touching earth. So once we're here, now we'll send one up and one down, because we don't want to just keep going up, lose the connection to the earth. So we're going to extend way up and down. Okay, and back. Now this balances the up and down. This goes all around. The fingers go out and connect to the net of Indra, the net of all life. And then that comes in. And then switch hands, stretch. You can hold these if you want. Extend up, extend down. Palms face each other. Okay, let's do one more pair. Okay, so just for a moment, you're no longer you. You're just a part of this vast net. Okay, and let's do one more up and down. Okay, and stretch, extend, and for a moment, you're no longer you. You're just a part of this incredible manifestation of life force energy. Stretching way up and down. Stretching the limits of yourself. Okay. And then finishing with the flying crane. If you want to, you can go up on one foot. Okay. Let's reduce the movements. Just let that settle. Your hands will end up in standing one. All right. And then when you're ready, go ahead and bring up your stool. And again, you can, maybe you drop right into the sitting posture, or maybe you move a little bit. Since we've been moving a lot, and let the moving sort of slow down, and let it naturally just find the still point in the center of the movement. And once that's arrived at, then there's just an alignment, a balance. And then we go into another level of movement, which is the body still, and then the lungs and the heart are moving. And actually, of course, the whole interior of the body is moving. And you can sort of sense this with the feeling sense. There's this vibrancy, this sort of vibration. At the level of feeling. As that vibration is happening at a higher level, then we hear a sound. If it's vibrating at an even higher level, then we see. That comes through the eyes. So the manifest world is vibrating at all these different levels all the time. And our senses take in a small part of it. There are animals that take in far more than we do in different senses. But we take in some of it. So the sense of touch is sort of a low level vibration of this chi energy as we feel it. Okay, so that's our attention is focused on the body. Now if we bring our attention up and focus on the mind, how do we perceive a thought? A thought is not a physical thing. It's much finer, but yet we can see in our mind, we can hear in our mind, smell, taste, touch, all the senses are present at the non-physical level of the mind. And that's a refinement of the chi. objects of mind come and go, appear and disappear. And when we realize that, then we take refuge in the space in which all of the senses and all of the mental objects appear, at the space of awareness or consciousness. And that we can imagine that as being around the body, bigger than the body, if we want to, if that's useful. But there's an awareness that does not come and go. And this is not our awareness. This is just awareness. And that's the radiance, that's the extension of the chi in all directions. This is just the nature of forms arising and passing. And the Buddhists will call this equanimity. And we can rest in this. So whatever arises just passes. We're not attached to the rising and passing of phenomena. Let's take a few more breaths and go ahead and move if you need to. Okay, very good. So let's go ahead and do our closing. We'll clap one time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you for your practice. And we'll let those of you who want to slip away. And for those of you who would like to remain, we'll go ahead and have question and response. Or I should say questions and comments. And we'll cut off the recording.